right, good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Speed Racing Network, where we present the Xfinity Series week number 6, the Magic City 150 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. My name is Sean Griffith. I'm here with Jake Roell. Jake, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Oh, it's going really well, Sean. Just getting ready for this Xfinity race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Looking forward to it. You know, we had a great race last night in our truck series, so I'm amped up, ready to see what these Xfinity drivers are going to have for us tonight.
Yeah, half the country is under some sort of a winter storm warning and that sort of thing. But down here in Miami, we're nice and warm. We are ready to get driving.
We definitely are. It's going to be a nice warm day here. You know, don't have to worry about any ice or snow. So if you're a fan at home watching, I mean, you're looking at this weather going, man, I want to get down there too.
Definitely. I'm sure they would love to have us at the actual Homestead-Miami Speedway. You know, we've got 100 laps to figure this thing out tonight. A little bit longer than it was last night. Last night was a really, really good race. I think tonight we're going to have an even better one.
I got to agree with you there. You know, last night we had some green flag runs, and then it kind of, when the race was starting to evolve and, you know, get to the end, there were some yellows. But I think with the Xfinity car and this track, I think we're going to see, you know, multiple long green flag runs. And, you know, last year we finished this race on about a 60, 70 lap green flag run. So wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing here tonight.
Yeah, there's plenty of room out there on the track for some driving. But here in this league, we go 20 weeks. We're going to go 13 regular season weeks, and then we're going to cut it to the top 15 in the playoffs. So here in week 6, we're kind of starting to get to that time where we've got to kind of think about, all right, who's going to make it and who's not going to.
Right, and you know, like you said, we're about halfway through the regular season, so you know, we got 20 weeks, but 13 regular weeks. In this series, we've all got fixed, or all the drivers have fixed setups, so every single car is going to have the same setup. That way, it's an even playing field, and every driver gets one of those faster pairs on iRacing. And if you don't know what that is, if you get involved into a wreck, you hit the wall or anything like that, and your car's got some damage on it, you know, iRacing has a fast repair, so you come down pit lane and it's like hitting the reset button and you get a clean car. So that's always a great thing to have as a driver, especially, you know, at a 1.5-mile track where any damage can really just kind of ruin your race.
Definitely. And, you know, out there on the NASCAR circuit, it takes hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars to race. Here, $10 a week. That's all you got to do is $10 a week. And then there's a $500 first place prize at the end of the season, as well as some weekly payouts as well, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Oh, yeah. You know, there's money all over the place in this league. Obviously, you know, you got the individual drivers championship prize, but something that's really cool about our league here at Speed Racing Network is the team championship. You can have 5 guys, a maximum of 5 guys on your team. That way, you know, throughout all 20 weeks of the season, you're racing as a team. The best 4 finishers of your team, those drivers' points all add up, you know, to a season total, and every single team out here tonight is going to be racing, you know, for that $200 team championship.
Yes, they are, and the individual awards for tonight at least. So first place, $50, and an entry into the Cup Series race, which is Sunday, right back here at Homestead-Miami. So super important for that first place win.
Right, and you know, we got a driver, you know, racing with us tonight. Corey Saucier is, you know, he finished first place last night in the Truck Series, so you know he got that free entry into the Xfinity. So obviously, 1st through 6th get paid out, but the big thing, if you are that winner, you know, you get a free entry and you're able to move up and continuously, you know, try to go after some more money. So, you know, not only are we paying out at the end of the season for individual drivers championships and team championships, but on a weekly basis, you can come out here in our league and, you know, race for money. You know, Sean, I mean, there's not many opportunities like that. And that's just something SRN really brings to the table for our drivers within our league.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that we enjoy doing here is bringing opportunities to drivers that they don't normally have on iRacing unless they get into these really, really super competitive leagues with huge high I ratings. So we love doing that. But the granddaddy of all this stuff is the season-long prizes. The first prize, $500 in this league. Second, $300. Third, $200. Fourth, $150, fifth, $100, and then that all-important team championship of $200. So money flowing everywhere.
It really is, and I mean, as you see this graphic, you know, you could be one of those 5 drivers that in the final race at Texas Motor Speedway, racing for the championship from the driver's standpoint. So you could be bringing home $500 or $500 to $100 within there, but then at the same time, your team could be battling for the team championship. So I mean, you could have someone go out win the first place drivers championship, but also bring home 50 to another $50 from the team championship. So there's just money all over the place. We're kind of like a bank almost, it feels like, Sean.
Sometimes it does feel that way. And not only do we have money out there, but we also have some other unique prizes, one of those being the Butt Kicker. So Butt Kicker is sponsoring all three of our leagues this season, and they're going to sponsor the Cleanest Driver Award. So if you are the cleanest driver for the entire season, then you're going to get a free Butt Kicker, which will change the way you race.
It really will, and I've always heard really great things about the Butt Kicker products. Never had a personal chance to use it or kind of feel what it's like and everything like that. But in official races, guys within the league, it definitely adds something to your sim experience that you can put onto your rig. And if you aren't fortunate enough to be the winner of the Clean Driver Award, you are able to go buy one on your own on Butt Kicker's website, and you can use our discount code SRN. VS20 to save 20% off your order. So, make sure if you're going to purchase one to use our code.
Definitely. And not only will that change the way you drive, but so will a great coach. And we've got a great coach here in Speed Racing Network. It's Kane Cook, and he actually races at the highest level of iRacing in the Coca-Cola series. They are racing for just a ton of money this year, and he is one of the best out there. And he's not just the best at being up front all the time. He's the best at starting in the back and working his way forward.
Exactly, Sean, and that's on iRacing. There's an award given out at the end of every single race. It's the Hard Charger Award. That's what Kane Cook is known for. He's got the most on the entire platform of iRacing. So he's doing all these races, officials, things like that. And also he's got his account. It's over 7,000 iRating, which is nearly impossible. I mean, it's very difficult to do that. And not only does he have one account with that, he's got a second account. So this guy knows what he's doing, and like Sean had just told everyone, he's in the Coca-Cola series on iRacing, the top echelon of oval racing here. And so, through SRN, you can go ahead and book yourself a coaching session with him on our website, speedracingnetwork.com. You can do solos with him where it's just you and him. There's also, a duo package. That way you and a friend can do it, as well as a group session. So if you got a few buddies you want to go learn some things from Kane, or within our league, you could have your whole team go in there and just kind of pick up on some things that he's doing right that maybe you aren't catching on to. So just go check that out, and it definitely can help your driving and improve your lap times and just overall kind of make your racecraft a little bit better.
Yeah, here on iRacing, a lot of people will call it a simulation. Some people will call it a game. If you call it a game, this is the best way to describe it. Every game has its little nuances. Every game has its little tricks that you can use to beat that game. Kane Cook has figured out those tricks, and he's willing to share them with you. Just go to speedracingnetwork.com and book that session so you can beat the game. Next up, let's talk about our individual leaders right now. So Zachary Taylor out front. Now, last week he had a huge lead, and it has kind of whittled away a little bit. He had a bad finish at Daytona, wrecking there on the last lap. So his lead kind of diminished a little bit. He's still got a 6-point lead over Gregory Joyner, but look out for Ryan DuCom, who won last week. He's only 8 points behind as well.
Definitely, Sean. Like we were just at the Daytona Oval for last week's race, and that's kind of what I've always said throughout the years here on iRacing is, you go to these super speedway tracks and the price of admission. So for Zachary Taylor, his price of admission last week was, a big points lead, got taken out on the final lap in a big wreck. And, you see that margin between him and second place kind of slimming down. But, we're back on a mile and a half, which Zachary Taylor so far has been lights out, except for Darlington. So I expect big things out of him. I'm sure we're going to see that lead grow. But, you look all the way down 1st through 15th here. There's names you're expected to see here. You got the likes of Marshall Stanley, Rhett Tucker, Joe Visagiped, Nathaniel Mon out of Bronco Motorsports with his teammate right there behind him. But, at the same time, Sean, there's a lot of guys that are, on the outside of this, on the outside of the cut that, they're trying to get, to the top 15.
Yes, there are. And so some of those guys, another Bronco Motorsports driver there, Nicholas Gillen, right there, 4 points behind. So not too far out of the cut. But we've got a lot of guys on this list that really should be up in that top 15. Greg Olenek has been dominant in the last couple of weeks. Daniel Baldler, he is always a superstar here in this league. Curtis Young, down in 27th, should be a lot higher. Just had some bad luck, and they're going to get this thing turned around. So I really think that top 15 is going to get really interesting.
I definitely think so too, Sean. I know I got to agree with you there. Like you said, you got names like Baldler, Greg Olenek, even down 25th, Daniel Keith Jr., Cody Madden, Cody Havens as well. Daniel Dow, just transitioned back to Xfinity, but he's only 71 points out of the thing. So we still got 7 more regular season races before the cutoff for the playoffs, and anything's really possible. You never know what can happen. So these guys might think that, their season might be coming to a close soon, but, you got a long way to go. There's no point to hit that panic button.
No, not yet. And I'm going to give you a little bit of foreshadowing. Let's go back to the individual standing, the top 15 here, and you'll see there are 4 drivers from Tank Racing in the top 15. There are 4 drivers from Bronco Motorsports in the top 15. So obviously, that's going to kind of help you in the team standings, and sure enough, Tank Racing is up there on top, and look who is right behind them, Bronco Motorsports.
Exactly. We got the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Team Championship here. So obviously, Tank Racing leading it right now, but by a slim margin of 2 points. So, with 4 drivers going for maximum points, that can change in, blink of an eye at the end of one of these races. Like we saw last week, Zachary Taylor was having a good run at Daytona, got involved in a wreck. So, that can happen here at Homestead or later down the road at any of these other tracks we head to. But you see H2K Motorsports kind of closing up on these top 2 teams with that win last week for Ryan DuCom at Daytona Oval. So, it's a long season. Anything, things can happen. It's racing, and some of these teams down the list as well with R2D2 Motorsports and R&D Motorsports, even Rev Racing, Team SRN. There's a long way to go. You got to be patient with it and realize that you're not going to be able to be up front with the team championship all season long. That's just hard to do through 20 weeks.
Yeah, it is definitely a long season, and let's talk about each of these individual teams with the Tropical Smoothie Cafe team introductions. And remember, if you eat better, you'll feel better. So take a look at Tropical Smoothie in your area. Let's start off with the guys that are leading the way right now, Tank Racing.
Yep. So our leaders of the team championship, we got Tank Racing. Seen a lot of these guys last season with MSM's series, which kind of evolved into Speed Racing Network. So we got Derek Da Silva, Zachary Taylor, a 2-time winner so far this season. Devin Zimmerman, Mike Lepicki, as well as the 57 of Emerson Ardon. So these guys, obviously, we've already said it. 5 of them are in the top 15 of points. So that's going to equate to why they're number 1 right now in the team championship. I think you're just going to see this consistently throughout the year so far. We've kind of had a good sample size of what each team is like so far. So. Not surprised to see them leading this thing.
Yep, Bronco Motorsports is up next, and they're just a couple points behind Tank Racing. And, they've got a great group of guys themselves. They don't have any wins under their belt right now, but if you are consistent the way that these guys have been, then not only will those wins come, but your team points will come as well. And one of the most consistent drivers out there every single week is Rhett Tucker in the 81.
You got that right, Sean. Bronco Motorsports might not have that elusive win yet, but it's got to be coming, soon. Obviously, they've been able to keep themselves within 2 points of Tank Racing so far. Obviously, they've been doing that with solid, top 5s, top 10s, consistent finishes from their drivers. So that's what you like to see. Obviously, you kind of want to get that win, kind of, get the monkey off the back, so to speak. But at the same time, if you're consistently doing really well and getting top 10s, it starts to add up over 20 weeks. So Bronco Motorsports has 5 solid guys, obviously, anywhere down this list. You could really see them in, battling for the lead or, running up front in all of our races, which obviously we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, the other name on this list is Gregory Joyner, actually second place in points right now, and nobody would have even guessed that had we not already thrown the points up there. So just quietly in second place, and that's kind of the Bronco way. They make their mark, but they kill you silently. So H2K Motorsports is up next, and they are led by a couple of great drivers here. And the first one I'm going to mention is Ryan DuCom, who won the race last week at Daytona.
Yep, you hit the nail on the head. Last week's winner, Ryan DuCom, been really quick everywhere, as well as his teammate, Jovi Sagiped. You know, when I jumped down to the Xfinity Series and ran Darlington, Jovi was one of the, 2 or 3 guys that were battling with me up front for the lead. So they got a lot of speed here in their Xfinity Series team, as well as Troy Techmeyer in the 32, Josh Marcy the 35, and, Dustin Scruggs as well in the 11. So H2K Motorsports is, kind of hiding in the bushes, they're there, so it's just a matter of time for things to start clicking for them.
Yep, next up is the factory team, the home team. This is Team SRN, and just like you were saying a little bit earlier, it's going to take a little bit of doing for them to get up there, but if they take it just one race at a time, then they have a chance to climb back in these team standings.
Right, and that's the thing with it too, you got to have the right mindset with it. You might see the margin, being pretty massive for the points difference, but you got to put yourself in good positions and be aware of it and kind of realize, hey, I don't want to do anything that's going to take me out and hurt, the team points. Because if I wreck, it kind of throws my 4 teammates, on the fire to come home with good finishes. And that's what, Team SRN needs, is just to consistently have good finishes and not try to go too hard at it to get too much, in one race. You're not going to gain that in one showing.
Yeah, and if we were talking about consistency a little bit earlier, and when I talk about consistency, Rev Racing comes to mind. Now, they have not had a good start to the season, but they are one of those teams that I would never bet against over the entire season long haul.
No, you really shouldn't. They're led by Adam Pettit. It's kind of the facilitator for Rev Racing. He knows what he's doing when it comes to putting teams together, and you see that here with his 5 drivers in the Xfinity Series. You got Joshua Segfrid, Aaron Gerwitz, Marshall Stanley, who won at the Daytona Road Course, Greg Olenek in the 31, as well as Mark Brown in the 68. Any one of these guys can go win it. I mean, honestly, any single type of type of track we go to, they've got a shot at it. So you got to watch out for them. They might be a little down right now in the points, but I think we're just gonna see what Rev Racing is made out of in the next few weeks to come. I really think they're back to tracks that these guys prefer, and there's not as much chaos when it comes to these tracks. So I think you'll be seeing them kind of marching to the front in the team standings.
I definitely agree with you. Another team that's got the talent on there, it just hasn't shown yet, is R2D2 Motorsports. And so led by, in my opinion, Jay Graves. Jay is one of the best drivers that we had last season in Mid-South Madness. And now here he is with R2D2 Motorsports, and he is just as consistent as he's always been.
Definitely, and as well as Dylan Patterson, I run with him in a different league. He's quick, and I think he's just not had the finishes he's been looking for. Kind of this whole team has had that. They've just been caught up with some bad luck and things happening, and that's going to happen in racing. You can't get too down on yourself. You got to look past it and say, well, it wouldn't matter if it was me or yourself, Sean, in the car or whatever. Anyone would have gotten involved in that wreck. There's nothing really around it, so you just got to keep your head down and kind of keep moving forward and just keep chugging along, and they'll start getting those finishes that they need and honestly where they should be finishing.
Yeah, but rounding out the team standings is R&D Motorsports, the team from Tennessee, put together by David Duke. And so they do have some great drivers on here, including Daniel Baldler, including Cody Havens, Curtis Young, Chris Heller, and Eric Hoke. All of these guys are great drivers. It's just it hasn't come together in every race. 1 or 2 of them will have solid finishes, but the other 3 won't. And so we've just got to get to where 4 of them have a solid finish, and they'll work their way up the standings.
Yeah, that's something, last season when I was on Striker Motorsports, we were kind of having the same issue. R&D Motorsports has had so far this season here in the Xfinity Series is, two of us would have really good finishes consistently. And then, for the other 3 drivers, they were just getting involved in things. And so you just almost got to say, look, you got to keep the car clean, try to be aware of what's going around. Don't force the issue early on. because you got to think big picture. And I think David Duke, who's put this team together, R&D Motorsports, I'm sure he's in their ear telling them, hey, look, you can't win it on lap 5, lap 10. It's a long race. We got 100 laps tonight here at Homestead. So I think you're going to see them getting it together. Obviously Daniel Ballard is up front. So, but Sean, we've also got some other drivers here tonight, our independent drivers, who are guys, jumping down from the Cup Series or might be jumping up from the Truck Series. So you got Robert Yost, Chris Massey, Cole Martin, Jack Johnson in the 75, whose car you see there on the right, which got to point that paint scheme out. That's a good-looking ride right there. Landon Lacey, Robert Montgomery, and Sean, the last guy on this list, he was going to be up here in the booth with us, but he couldn't pass up Homestead-Miami Speedway.
No, exactly. Dean Brummett in that 333, so watch out for him. But here's the other guy that you need to look out for, the number 24, Corey Saucier. He won last night's Truck Series, so he got the free entry into tonight. And sure enough, we get out there on the track to look at the grid, and look who's on the pole, Corey Saucier himself with Landon Lacey, an independent driver, in second.
Exactly. In third place out of Tank Racing, we got Mike Lepicki in the 46. Christopher Heller, the 10 from R&D Motorsports, in fourth. Rounding out the top 5 out of Bronco Motorsports, we got Nathaniel Mon.
And there's Dean Brummett in sixth in the 333 as an independent driver. Devin Zimmerman for Tank Racing up in seventh. And then Michael Amenti from R2D2 Motorsports in eighth.
In ninth place, we got Gregory Joyner out of Bronco Motorsports. So, we kind of talked how he's kind of quietly, in second place in the points, and here he is qualifying ninth. So, got good speed in the car tonight, trying to close the gap to Zachary Taylor. But 10th place, we got Mark Brown out of Rev Racing, and he got his teammate in 11th, Marshall Stanley. And rounding out the top 12 tonight in our starting positions is Curtis Young out of R&D Motorsports.
Yeah, we are going to have a great race tonight, and everybody's going to try to track down that Truck Series winner, Corey Saucier. But I think we're about to come off of pit road here, and we're going to get all gridded up and ready to roll. As you can see, just a nice line of cars there.
Definitely can. The pace car's moving. That means the field's going to follow behind, and we're going to get this thing started. But, before we get green flag racing here, Sean, I got to ask, who you picking tonight to win?
The safe money would be on Corey Saucier, but I've never been a safe driver, safe bettor, or anything like that. So I am going to make a little bit of a surprise pick tonight. I am actually going to go a little bit deeper in the pack and go with Jovi Sagiped back there in 14th position.
I like it. He's been quick. He was really fast at Darlington, so I kind of it's a little similar type track, where you kind of start moving up the track, on a longer run. But tonight, I think I'm going to go with the 85 of Gregory Joyner out of Bronco Motorsports, Sean.
Yeah, it might be his time to break through with the first win for Bronco Motorsports of the season.
Exactly, and that'd be huge for him in the individual standings as well as the team championship. But we'll see. We got 100 laps here at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the Magic City 150. Pace car's pulled off. It's going to give it into our hands of Corey Saucier. He's going to see if he gets a good restart, and the green flag is out here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And Saucier got a good start, but Landon Lacey on the outside had his number that time around, I believe.
Yeah, we saw last night Corey had really good restarts, would pull away from the field, but on the first one of the night, he's getting passed by Landon Lacey right now on the outside as they go down the backstretch. It's going to be interesting to see how this evolves going into 3 side-by-side early on lap 1.
Yeah, this side-by-side battle, of course, that does nothing but help the guys behind him. But Corey Saucier trying to hold that position as they come to the stripe for the first lap, and I think Corey Saucier led that one.
I think he did. He edged him out by a little bit of his nose there, so Corey's going to take the lead. They're going to get single file, but here comes Landon Lacey on the low side. A little bit of crossover, but we got a wreck behind in the middle of the pack. Oh, and Landon Lacey gets into Corey Saucier. So the wreck happened behind the leaders, and then all of a sudden Landon Lacey got into the left quarter panel of Corey Saucier.
Yeah, we got a big wreck going on, so we're going to go back and try to figure out what happened back there towards the back of the pack with our very first wreck replay brought to you by Sandwich Man's Racing and Sports Memorabilia.
See what happened here on the wreck replay. That was pretty wild what was going on there. 2 different spots. We're on board with Curtis Young. Kind of looked like a car. Whoever was to his inside got sent up the track, and man, end over end, he's barrel rolling and disappeared there.
I'm not sure who that was that got loose. The 68.
Oh, yep. So that's Mark Brown out of Rev Racing. Yep. Kind of got a little loose, and he got into the right rear quarter panel of the car that was on the inside of him, and then it kind of sent him up the track. And Curtis Young in the 94 Sean had nowhere to go, and unfortunately took a hard look into the outside wall.
Oh, and we have a little bit of a... There we go. Oh, nope. So, yeah, we keep getting a little bit of cutout there. So, definitely a big wreck. And there we got the very end of it. So, a lot of guys involved in that. I think Greg Olenek was involved. Cody Havens involved. Brad Williams, Landon Lacey. Landon Lacey got a little bit of side action there. So, let's go up and look at that.
Yeah, let's check that out because the yellow was already out. And then next thing you know, Landon Lacey was spinning to the inside of the track.
Corey Saucier got loose.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Corey Saucier got loose.
To see.
Yeah, we're going to go back and look at that again. And you can see
they go side by side.
They didn't. They don't touch there, and then Corey Saucier just breaks loose right here.
Yeah, got a little loose, and you can see the light. The yellow was already out, and that's just bad luck on Landon Lacey's part. You know, the yellow was already out, and I'm sure he was starting to check up. Next thing you know, our leader Corey Saucier just got loose at it too, and nothing intentional or anything. Just tried collecting the car, and Landon Lacey wrong spot at the wrong time right there. That's tough to watch. Obviously you don't. That's not a good way to start this race when we're on lap. I believe we're only on lap 2 when that happened.
No, and Landon Lacey goes into the pits, and he is not going to use his fast repair this early in the race. But we will see if he can get that car repaired and back out on the track and at least make up a few positions here. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and go a lap down this time around. Oh, no, I think he got out.
Yeah. Car out. Yeah, that's good to see. Don't want to get a lap down early on. That's just, too big of a hole to get out of, early on. I mean, it's possible, but just not how you want your race to get started. So good to see Landon Lacey keeps it on the lead lap, and the pace lights are off the pace car, so we'll be going green flag racing this time by.
Well, really quick, let's go through the raffle winners because we said we do that during the first caution. First, our butt kicker winner was John Doc Holiday. So congratulations, John. You win the Butt Kicker Gamer 2. And then the helmet, the Christopher Bell replica helmet, the winner of that was Landon Lacey himself, who just got into that wreck. And then finally, the headset winner, Derek Da Silva, who is in this race also. So congratulations to you guys. We're going to get with you guys, get your addresses, and get those items out to you.
So congrats to all of our raffle winners. It's exciting, especially for the couple guys that are in here that might not know until after they watch this broadcast. So that'll be exciting for them to see. But I think we're going to see a little excitement on this restart. Dean Brummett is in 3rd place behind our leader, Corey Saucier, who's going to lead the field to the green again. And Corey Saucier with a good restart this time, not letting Mike Lepicki get to his door like last time for Landon Lacey.
Yeah, Dean Brummett sends it. Oh!
Man, oh man.
He's sitting and he almost lost it.
He did. Mike Lepicki's going to get a big run on that high side down the backstretch, try to take the lead as they head into 3 and 4 in that Hooters 46 machine for Tank Racing. So Corey Saucier under attack right now from a couple guys. And he's got Chris Heller coming up right behind him on his rear bumper.
And Mike Lepicki takes that lead. And for those of you that don't know who Mike Lepicki is, he was the runner-up for Mid-South Madness Season 1. And so he did not have a good season last season. But this season, he's kind of got that resurgence going on. I think he's up to 5th place in points.
Yeah, he's definitely really driving really well this season. Obviously, I don't know if it's just clicked for him in these Xfinity cars or what, made a difference from last season to this season. But Mike Lepicki is really fast. He's been up front in a ton of races, and he's leading this thing early on here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Got a little bit of side-by-side action back here with Dean Brummett and Christopher Heller in the 10.
Yep, Dean Brummett on the outside of Christopher Heller. Don't know if you really want to be doing that for too long if you're these two guys. You start burning your stuff up, battling for a spot, but at the same time, when you're a driver, you don't want to be the one that lifts to let the other guy go. And, I don't really know Chris that well, but I know Dean pretty well, and Dean Brummett's not going to be that guy. So these guys are going to be side by side, and the drivers behind them are just kind of waiting for these two to figure it out, or if someone's feeling it, they'll send it 3 wide on these two.
Yeah, and Nathaniel Mon is going to try to follow Dean through that hole and try to get up to the top side of Christopher Heller, but now he thinks better of it and goes down to the inside.
Yep, and here comes Nathaniel Mon, going to make a move to the inside of Christopher Heller as these two go into 3 and 4. So the 84 Bronco Motorsports going to the inside of Chris. I think he's going to get the job done. Maybe not. Big run out of 4 for Heller.
And now we got Corey Saucier trying to make a move here on Mike Lipicki. Oh, they touch!
Make a little contact there. That's going to send Lipicki up the track. Corey Saucier is going to... And here comes Brummett making it 3 wide. We're 3 wide for the lead here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And Dean's down there in that extreme inside angle. He is going to have to try to make that thing stick.
It's going to be tough right here. They're going to run out of room. They're going to get 2 wide, though. Corey Saucier with an impressive run on the low side there underneath Mike Lipicki. But we're 2 by 2 for the first 2 rows. Our top 4 drivers are right nose to tail of each other. This is some good racing right now.
Back there in 6th place is our series leader right now, Zachary Taylor. He is up 7 spots already in this race, so he is looking to pick off a few more.
Exactly. He sees what's going on in front of him, and he's probably saying, hey, I want to get involved in this. This looks like fun. So Zachary Taylor in that 14 machine really hugging that white line through 3 and 4. And Dean Brummett on the inside, and Nathaniel Mon right now for 3rd. You could throw a blanket over the top 10, Sean.
Yeah, in last night's race, it seemed like everybody just kind of relaxed and got to a straight line. No such luck here.
Not at all. These boys are ready to race. They saw that truck race last night, and they were ready to go tonight here at Homestead. So these guys are amped up, it seems. So this is good stuff so far. But Corey Saucier, pretty impressive, if you ask me. Goes out and wins the truck race, and now he's in the lead here in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, but he definitely doesn't have the type of lead that he had last night.
No, definitely not. Not just sure if, maybe not enough practice time like he probably had in his own truck, but nonetheless, he's up front leading this thing, and Dean Brummett trying to track down our front 2 right now.
Again, going back just a little bit further, you got Dean Brummett and Nathaniel Mon side by side.
Nathaniel Mon of Bronco Motorsports trying to make the inside pass there, but it's tough to do here at Homestead. It's more of a single lane track when it comes to the racing groove. So when there's 2 guys going for it, it just makes it really tough, as you see on watching these 2 battle for 3rd. And you got a guy like Zachary Taylor behind you who's pretty aggressive and not willing to make a move that most guys might not. So if these 2 kind of get caught up 2 by 2 or side by side 2 wide, you got to watch the 14 and make it 3 wide. So you got to be looking in the mirror for that.
You saw Dean Brummett go down to the inside really aggressively, and he's going to try to make it stick. Not really able to do it there, so I think Nathaniel Mon's going to get the run on the outside.
Yeah, I think this time into 1, Nathaniel Mon's already got him cleared, and he's going to set his sights on our leaders. And here comes Zachary Taylor to the outside of Dean Brummett, really going high up near the wall, but Dean Brummett coming back on Nathaniel Mon on the inside.
Yeah, the way this is sitting right now, Corey Saucier and Mike Lipicki are kind of driving away from this group, but they're almost going 3 wide in every single turn.
They really are. It kind of gets frustrating at a point. You can tell you're faster than a guy, but because of how this track races, there's not much you can do. And you got to be patient with it. So it's just really struggling here at Homestead for some of these guys making these passes. You'll see them kind of get cleared. Next thing you know, that driver's right back to you where, you almost had him. And here's Zachary Taylor making an inside move to Dean Brummett for 5th place. For 4th.
Yeah, and he is going to make that move and try to make it stick down there. But again, that inside line's so tough to stick, especially here a little bit, 16 laps into a tire run.
Exactly. you kind of seem to be getting the pass done, and then all of a sudden, midway through the corner, you kind of stall out with your momentum, and that's where that high line starts rolling. And as you saw, Dean Brummett kind of pulls away from it as he clears him. Zachary Taylor got a little loose there in the middle of the corner. Now he's under attack from behind by Marshall Stanley and Christopher Heller, and here comes Zach's teammate Devin Zimmerman in the 33, who we've not talked about a little bit. So you got guys just pouncing on one's mistakes.
Yeah, Devin Zimmerman driving that JDRF car for juvenile diabetes. So definitely anybody that likes to donate to good causes, JDRF is out there trying to do the research to hopefully eradicate diabetes at some point.
Exactly, and kind of behind this group, you got a group of guys that are all Bronco Motorsports drivers. In 10th place or 11th. Gregory Joyner, and then behind him Nathaniel Mon, and then Brad Herman, one of the Cup drivers for Bronco Motorsports. So you got 3 Bronco Motorsports drivers right now behind this big group of cars, kind of waiting and buying their time to get around these guys.
Yeah, this is just a big cluster up here, but up front you got Corey Saucier, who has opened up a 0.4 of a second lead over Mike Lepicki, and at this point I think Mike Lepicki would be better served to kind of conserve his tires and start thinking about pit strategy.
Yeah, you got to imagine that's what he's doing. I mean, you're not going to probably be able to go up there and run him down right now, so it's kind of a waiting game to say, all right, it's like a chess match. He made his move right now. He's up front, driving away from you slightly, but what do you got to do differently than him, with pit stops and things like that, to kind of change up the order on track? And, if I'm Mike Lepicki or these guys in Tank Racing, that's what I'd be doing. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we got about 27 more laps until they'd have to come down from pit lane right now. That's what I'm hearing on the Dean Brummett's radio, the 333 for tonight's race.
Yeah, he's the 333 on the scoreboard. He's the number 3, the old throwback of Dale Earnhardt's car out there on the track.
Exactly. Usually we see him in that 24 Rainbow Warrior, but since it's the 20-year anniversary of Dale Earnhardt's death, he decided to run the tribute to him, and he's doing him proud right now on the high side here at Homestead.
And the other number 3, Joby Psyche-Pad, right behind him as well. So if you get confused on the broadcast, that's okay. We'll try to talk you through the whole thing. But the number 3 is in front of the number 3 right now.
Exactly. That's iRacing for you. That can happen. But the good thing about a broadcast is, we got the driver labels, and everyone, who's in what car. So we'll get you through it, fans watching. Don't worry. But we got great racing all around this track. As the lead's kind of tightening up. Mike Lepicki's kind of run down. Corey Saucier up front right now. So the 46 is coming to life the longer this run goes on.
Yeah, we've still got 31 cars on the lead lap, so still a lot of racing to go here. But they've done a really good job, especially as close as everybody has been together, of keeping this thing clean.
They really have. It's been about 4th place to 12th place has kind of been the hornet's nest, so to speak. And they've been doing a really good job with it. Not getting into anyone, not causing any yellows. We had that early yellow, but we've gone on about a 19, 20 lap run so far, and which is exactly what we expected to see.
Mike Lepicki getting a nose on Corey Saucier. He's going to take that inside line, and he is going to take that lead away from Corey Saucier. Let's see if Corey can get back up there. He can't, so it's going to be Mike Lepicki taking the lead right back.
It is. That's a strong move right there by Lepicki. I thought Saucier was going to get the run on the high side, but he couldn't make it stick, and Mike Lepicki was able to clear him, drive away a little bit, and so 46 of Tank Racing is now up front here at the Magic City 150.
Yeah, and Mike Lepicki and Tank Racing continuously proving me wrong. I said that he should hold back and just wait for pit strategy, and here he is up in the lead.
Exactly, and there's a bit of a battle for 5th right now with Mike's teammate Devin Zimmerman got Gregory Joyner on the inside, and that's the 21 of Daniel Dow, who's already pitted for some damage, I believe, so he's got fresh tires. He's a couple laps down, so that's why you saw the speed difference right there coming out of 4. But Gregory Joyner now in 5th place. A couple laps ago we pointed out that he was behind this cluster of cars, and all of a sudden he's in 5th place right now, Sean, and he's running down 4th place to Marshall Stanley.
And Dean Brummett has fallen all the way back to 7th place, so Dean might have used up his stuff here in these early laps, just trying to maintain that position.
Yeah, you know, that could happen, unfortunately. You try a little hard on too early in a run, you'll burn your tires up and you'll start falling back a bit. So Dean's kind of just got to buy his time until he can come down pit lane and get fresh tires on it. So, you know, it could be a lot worse, though. You know, he could have hit the wall, been involved in a wreck. So he's got to be patient with it. Just wait till he gets down pit lane.
And again, that 21 passing our leader, that is not for position. That is Danny Dow. He is actually 4 laps down right now. So just trying to get some of those laps back with pitting a little bit early.
Exactly, Sean. And, you know, right now it's interesting to see that no leader has kind of pulled away from the field. It just kind of shows how close all these guys are and, you know, how important it is to have track position. As we see Saucier kind of coming back to Mike, trying to retake that lead.
Yeah, putting a little bit of pressure on there, seeing if Mike's going to burn up his tires at all. But, I mean, this is going to get really intriguing if we get to green flag pit stops.
It really is. You know, we still got about 17 laps, it looks like, of fuel. So, you know, they can make it to probably lap 45, but they'll probably pit a little bit earlier than that. So, you know, these drivers that are struggling, they've got a long way to go. I mean, they've still got 16 laps until they come down. But right now, Gregory Joyner in the 85 for Bronco Motorsports is going to take it to the inside of Marshall Stanley and try to take 4th place as they head into 3.
Yeah, this will put 2 of the Bronco Motorsports cars in the top 4. So his teammate Nathaniel Mon right in front of him.
They really will. And that, you know, a strong showcase so far early on here at Homestead for Bronco Motorsports. You know, they got a new sponsor on board. Got to shout them out for them, Shoney's. So if you're looking for a bite to eat, go to Shoney's. Bronco Motorsports, sponsored by them as well, the Sandwich Man Racing. So, and as you see, Greg's teammate kind of let him go cleanly there. And we just saw our 2nd place driver, Corey Saucier, get into the fence.
Yeah, so that's going to slow him down.
It's going to slow him down big time as Joyner and Nathaniel Mon take over 2nd and 3rd place. And honestly, I'm looking at these last few laps. Gregory Joyner has been a bit quicker than our leader right now, Mike Lepicki. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this 85 car take over the lead here in the next few laps.
Yeah, going back up front, and we'll take a quick look at those lap times. As you can see here on the bottom of your screen, that sure enough, a Joyner has been about 1/10 of a second to 5/10 of a second faster every single lap.
Yeah, he's really cutting into that lead. As you see the pass for the lead right now, the 85, Gregory Joyner is ready to go. He wants that lead. Going to clear him off of 4. That 85 car is going to take over the lead of this race.
And man,
so if this thing goes on a long run, man, that 85 car is really, really strong.
Yeah, he is locked in right now. Started off in 9th, and I think he just saved those tires. And by saving those tires, you're really good at the end of the run. It's a gamble because if there is a caution, then that kind of goes away. But there have been no cautions besides that very first one that we had back on lap 2.
It really is, and that's kind of the thing, you know, especially if this thing is a green flag pit stop, you got to manage your tires early on a run. You're going to feel like you want to go really fast because you got all the grip in the world compared to these, you know, 32-lap-old tires. So when these guys do come down pit lane, you got to be aware of that to not burn them up too quick on, you know, brand new tires.
And Corey Saucier continues his fall backwards after getting into the pits there. So he is back in 5th position and right now under pressure by Brad Herman from as an independent.
Yeah, and you know, obviously Brad Herman's an independent right now in the Xfinity series because he runs full-time Cup racing, but that's, you know, he's on Bronco Motorsports in the Cup series. So you think about it, Bronco Motorsports right now as a whole has got 3 drivers in the top 5. So whatever they know, you know, at Homestead-Miami Speedway, they collectively as a team are really, really strong here so far early on.
Yeah, Jovi followed Brad Herman right through, and here comes Devin Zimmerman trying to follow that same path also. So right now, Corey Saucier getting freight trained.
He is, and one of our drivers that was up front has already pitted the 333. Oh! As we see Nathaniel Mon got a little bump from the 25 of Marshall Stanley. Great save by the 84 there of Nathaniel Mon. I mean, that could have been a big one right there, Dean, or Sean.
That's all right. I've been called a lot worse than Dean in my lifetime, I can promise you that. But Dean Brummett himself did jump into the pits on lap 32, so he's going to have fresh tires, but he is a lap down.
Exactly, and that's kind of the thing you got to do. You know, Dean Brummett was falling back, and you know, hey, I'm not running these guys down. I got to do something different. So he came down pit lane. We're going to hear Devin Zimmerman.
Oh, here we go.
In the 24. So our green flag pit stops are starting to roll off. And Mike Lepicki in the pits as well. So pit stops have begun here at Homestead. So it's going to be interesting to see what Greg does. You can't be out there for too long and keep yourself on a lonely island up there, because these guys on new tires are going to be running fast laps. So you got to be aware of this.
Yeah, tons of guys into the pits this time around. So we are going to get this thing all sorted out. But Gregory Joyner still takes that, or has that lead. Seeing if he's going to go out one more time as well. So he's just going to stay out, and maybe there'll be a caution that comes out that will really, really trap these guys.
Exactly, and right now, you know, his two teammates behind him as well, of Brad Herman and Nathaniel Mon, have stayed out. So I think when you see these guys pit, they're going to do it all together. So it's only a matter of time for these guys to come down, you know, and take tires. But at the same time, Sean, you know, we have that early yellow. The longer these guys go, could actually help them later on if this thing does stay green. You know, they might be able to cut it. You know, the last run, they could have, you know, more or fewer laps on their tires, so they'd be able to really push it harder for, you know, fewer laps. You know, making them faster on a short run there if it does go that long.
Yeah, now keep in mind, last season when we were at this track, we only had 3 cautions for 12 laps out of 100 laps. And so really this is kind of par for the course for these Xfinity cars, where there's just not a lot of cautions. And so that's what these guys have to keep in mind is, I mean, trends being trends, that one caution could be the only one they get.
Exactly. You know, it's not impossible to have here at Homestead. We see long green flag runs here. And, you know, that's what we've got right now. So the longer this thing goes, I think it just plays into these guys' hands that were up front before that yellow, or before pit stops started happening.
Now, if these pit stops cycle all the way through, then Dean Brummett currently is the first car a lap down that has pitted. And so he could technically take the lead, but he and Mike Lepicki are within 1 second of each other, and Mike Lepicki has the newer tires.
Yep, Mike Lepicki is running a little bit quicker right now than Dean Brummett, because Dean came down a little earlier than Mike. So if this thing does continue to go, Mike's going to eventually get around Dean. But you saw, you know, back there, Mike Lepicki and Zachary Taylor got by Nathaniel Mon. Just the difference in speed new tires have here, as we hear the 86 of Brad Herman, who's in second place, is coming down pits this time by. So wouldn't be surprised to see if Gregory Joyner joins them.
Yep, there he goes. So
And
Brad
sure
Herman
enough, there's the 85 car.
See if Nathaniel Mon follows. He does. Christopher Heller is going to inherit the lead.
Exactly, and then I'm sure it won't be long for him to come down pit lane, and our second place driver, Daniel Bowler, who we've not seen up front, but because of how long this green flag run has gone, you know, he's up to second place right now as well.
Yeah, Bowler,
so there's just a ton of strategy out there with it.
Bowler not really running the fast laps that we're used to him running out here, and he says that this is not one of his better tracks, and that's okay, nothing wrong with that. But here he is in second position, and if a caution came out right now, he might be sitting pretty.
Oh, he definitely would. If a yellow comes out now, a lot of these guys that had already pitted about almost 10 laps ago would definitely have to come down pit lane again to get new tires. So Daniel Bowler would be, you know, making out good with that yellow, with the amount of track position he would gain, because those guys wouldn't be able to jump him by staying out. So Bowler, you know, gonna need to come down pit lane soon. But if a yellow were to come out, it would really benefit these guys that have stayed out longer, you know, on this green flag run.
And I think here comes Heller. So yeah, Heller coming down into pit road right now. Daniel Bowler will actually get a lead lap here.
And that's crucial, Sean, because we get bonus points for leading a lap. So the 6 car of Daniel Bowler going to get a bonus point tonight for leading that lap.
Yeah, but now he's going to have to get that car around while all these faster cars are going around him. and he'll likely come down to the pits this time around. He just wanted to get that bonus point, I think.
Yep, and he just said over the radio, just heard him call it out, that he's coming to pits this time by. So he's going to keep his car tucked to the white line and hope all these guys behind him get around him. But see, that's what happens when a car has to come down pit lane. It creates a little bit of a traffic jam out of 4.
And now Bo Tiffany will take the lead. And now he pitted back on lap 3 when that caution came out a little bit earlier. So he still might have another lap or 2 in him. But you can see how fast these cars are getting around him with those brand new tires. That's got to make him nervous. He's got to get into the pits.
Oh, yeah, you got to be calling it out, I'm sure, right now. And sure enough, Sean, 13 of Bo Tiffany calls it out. He's coming to get new tires and a full tank of fuel as well. So he's coming in this time.
So as he comes into the pits, then we will...
Oh, I thought he was going to go around. I'm sorry.
That was close. It was awfully close. But now Landon Lacey could have stayed out and taken that lead, but he's going to come into the pits as well. And now Greg Olenek in the Moo and Brew car, he is going to come in as well. So now those are the last 3 on that pit cycle. And so now the race for the lead, you've got Dean Brummett up top, you've got Mike Lepicki on the bottom, and Mike Lepicki is going to get that lead, and his teammate Zachary Taylor right behind him.
Yep, so here's our battle for the lead. Dean Brummett pitted a little bit earlier than these guys and, was in front of these guys, but, the more laps they run, these 2 tank racing cars were able to run them down and get around them. As you see now, the two of them, Mike Lepicki and Zachary Taylor, got around Brummett for first and second. So Dean's in third place now, so, that's part of it. You go too early and, when it cycles through, you kind of burn through your stuff. So Dean Brummett right now, sitting in third place, almost gets into the outside wall off of 4, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, and Lepicki has had a great race this entire time. Started off in third, up in first right now. His teammate Zachary Taylor started off in 13th, now up to second.
Exactly, so a great run right now for Zachary Taylor. Didn't have the best qualifying attempt, but he's in second place.
So you're seeing the view from Mike Lepicki right now. You can see he is right up on the tail. That is Greg Olenek right in front of him. Now, Greg Olenek on brand new tires, so I'm not really sure that Lepicki is going to be able to track him down.
No, it's going to be tough to do that. Olenek's on brand new tires, so that's a hard feat, even though you're the leader. You've been out there on, I'd probably say almost 10 laps of tires as opposed to Olenek, who just came off pit lane. It's tough to run a guy down like that. But hey, Mike's in the lead for a reason, so maybe he would be able to do that.
And so third place right now, Jovi Sagiped, so not too terribly far behind Zach Taylor. And then you've got Dean Brummett falling back to 4th position, having pitted about 4 laps sooner than these guys.
Yup, and again, that's just what happens with green flag runs and green flag pit stops. Is a lot of guys will, there's tons of different strategies out there. Who pitted first, who was one of the last ones to get down on pit lane, because if this thing, cycles through another green flag run, usually those guys that stayed out the longest, start rising to the top the longer and longer this run has gone on. So it's just something we're going to have to, keep an eye out as this race evolves.
If Lepicki is able to hold on to this thing and win this race, then this would be his first win in over 2 seasons here in Mid-South Madness / Speed Racing Network.
So he's a little bit on a winless drought right now, or on a winless streak. So that'd be awesome to see for Mike. It's been a long time, and he had some tough luck last season. He was pretty fast almost everywhere we went, but it just seemed like he was getting caught up in other people's stuff. So it's really great to see Mike having a strong run, but right now who's having a strong run is that 3-car Jovi Sagiped, making a big move on Zachary Taylor on the inside in the middle of 1 and 2 for second place.
Yeah, now the 68, that's Mark Brown. He is not figuring into this. He is actually a lap down, so if he passes Zach Taylor, that's not for position. But Jovi Sagiped up into second place right behind Mike Lepicki.
Exactly, and that's another aspect of green flag runs that comes into play are the lap cars. How do you come up to them? If you catch them in the wrong spot, it can really kill your lap. But at the same time, if you're Mike and you're the leader and you get around a guy, at a good spot. The guy behind you might catch him in a wrong spot, so you could lengthen your lead by just a lap car being at the wrong spot for someone else. So it's just something you got to maneuver through the field when you're on these green flag runs like we've got so far.
Yeah, now Zachary Taylor, of course, he is our points leader. So here he is in third position. Gregory Joyner, second place in points. He is back here in sixth. Ryan DuCom, third place in points. He was involved in that earlier wreck, and so he is all the way back in 39th position right now.
Exactly. Just tough luck so far early on. Got involved in a wreck, but, like we were saying, this 85 car is coming to life right now because he was able to stay out a little bit longer than all these guys in front of him, so he's making, pass almost every couple laps on a guy, and he's, taking over fifth place from Dylan Patterson. So this 85 car, Gregory Joyner, is moving through the field. I believe when they came out of pits, he was almost 6 seconds behind the lead, and it's now down to 4.3 seconds. So every single lap that goes by, Gregory Joyner, I think, has been the fastest car on the track of the leaders.
Yeah, but watch out for Corey Sauce here also. He got in there, he got that fast repair from an earlier brush against the wall, and so now he is back up into seventh position. So he's got a shot to get inside this gap here. So he's only 5 seconds back, and that could go away in a heartbeat.
Exactly, and something else that can go away in a heartbeat. You see Devin Zimmerman there making a move on the inside of Marshall Stanley. Devin Zimmerman must have gotten a speeding penalty or something under that green flag pit stop, because scoring right now shows him in 36th spot. So he definitely had to have gotten a black flag for speeding or an unsafe pit entrance or exit. So that's not what you want to see, unfortunately for him. He was battling with these guys for position, and now, he's just 2 laps down passing these guys, which is really, really tough to see, especially when you're running up front like that.
Yeah, back up front, you got Michael Pickey. Still maintaining that 0.4 of a second lead, but here comes Jovi. He is starting to chop away at that lead.
He definitely is. Soggy Ped's going to be on the rear bumper of this 46 before you know it, and trying to make a move to the inside, I'm sure, of Mike Lepicki, but Jovi right now is really running strong, and I think he's going to take over this lead here shortly.
See, a lot of drivers there would try to dip their nose down towards the bottom of the track just to try to inch a little bit closer. Jovi's smart enough to stay up top. Let's get that quick run. Let's just maintain where we're at right now and wait for a better moment.
Exactly. He's being smart with it, not putting himself in a bad position to where there could be some contact and get involved into a wreck. He's been really patient, but right now, going to go the high side in 3 and 4 to try to make this move. Going to be pretty impressive if he makes it down on the high side. You see Lepicki kind of, pull out a little bit in front of him in the middle of the corner, but it's that high side run that you get the big run down the front coming off the high side, and Soggy Peg going to lead that lap and take the lead as they go into 1. This lap car in front of him, though, is not going to make it easy for these 2 leaders, Sean.
Yeah, Eric Hogue, I'm not sure he knows where to go. He goes high, he blocks Jovi. He goes low, he blocks Mike Lepicki. There's nowhere for Eric to go. And sure enough, actually, Jovi makes the decision for him and just cuts kind of right in front of Mike Lepicki there and maintains that lead.
And that was crucial for Jovi to get himself clear of Lepicki out of 2. That way down the back he could make the move on Eric Hawk. That way he didn't have to worry about going side by side with Lepicki as well as dealing with the lap car in front of him. So that's a veteran move right there of Jovi. As they came out of turn 2 last time by, and you see Jovi Soggy Ped's already opened it up to almost half a second lead, with not even within a lap of getting by Mike Lepicki.
Yeah, and then he passes Rob Yost Jr., putting Rob Yost a lap down.
Exactly, the 92 machine not having the run I'm sure he wants, getting lapped right now, and Jovi Soggy Ped going to control this race so far. We're coming to 43 laps to go this time by, but right now that third place car of Gregory Joyner again is just running these leaders down at an incredible mark. Lepicki last time by as well as Jovi both ran 35.0s, and Gregory Joyner ran a 34.4, but a yellow is out on the track, so all of this isn't going to matter, Sean, as all these drivers are going to come down and get new tires and fuel this time.
Daniel Bodler off track, I believe. Yep, Daniel Bodler off track. Not sure what caused that just yet. We will go back and we will have our second wreck replay of the night.
Yep, another wreck replay brought to you by Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia. So if you need any diecast or other memorabilia, check them out on Shopify. They've got some good stuff. But we're riding along here with Daniel Badler, and it looks like that's the 55 car of Michael Amenti.
Yep. And
got involved with that yellow and pink car, and Badler just, nowhere to go, honestly, right in front of him.
Yeah, it looked like he just kind of got up into the wall. Let's see if maybe we get a better view here.
I believe.
And that's the 66 that got into his left rear. And so that's Joshua Siegfried from Rev Racing that got up into his left bumper and spun Amenti.
Oh no, and then he spins it out up the track. Don't know if anyone else hit him. Oh my goodness, the 35 there almost just got taken out. That's unfortunate to see. That's not what you want to see if you're one of these drivers. A car coming right up the track in front of you.
Yeah, just one more time here, and you will see the 66 just try to get down low and then just can't hold it. Gets up into Amenti, and then Bodler, just the unfortunate, just getting into the back of him. Really nowhere for Bodler to go there. And I think Amenti's got to kind of hold it there, I think.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that was. You never know, obviously. But thankfully, no one else, hit him right there, because that could have been bad news for a lot of these guys up front. But the race off pit road, Jovi Sagiped really got a big jump out of the pit, so he'll be our leader. In second place is going to be Gregory Joyner. So, he gains a spot through pit lane or pit stops under this yellow. This restart's going to be interesting, Sean.
Yeah, now everybody's kind of on even keel, and looks like everybody pitted except I don't think that Eric Hawk pitted. I think he wanted to get back on the lead lap there. But besides that, everybody else pitted for the most part. So it's a fresh ball game. So we got Jovi up in first. We got Gregory Joyner, who is second in our points. He is up in second. Mike Lepicki in third, who's led a lot of this race. Corey Saucier, who started off on the pole and won last night, in fourth. And then Dean Brummett, one of our independent drivers, back there in fifth. And then series leader Zachary Taylor in sixth. So, man, this top six, this top six as a whole, these are the names, man. These are them.
Oh yeah, we got big names all throughout the top six. Even honestly, through the top 10, it's a lot of guys that have been running up front all season long. So it's this is gonna be quite interesting. I think on this restart, it's gonna be about probably with 38, 37 laps to go, or probably about 38, and it's gonna be lights out. It's kind of go time. So you'll see some moves, I think, from some of these guys that are going to throw or catch some guys off guard, and I think we're going to see some intense racing up front.
Yeah, out there in the chat, Bobby Anderson saying, "Go get it, Corey. Keep it saucy." Talking about Corey Saucier, obviously, back here in the 24 car.
Definitely, strong run so far tonight. Won it last night, trying to go back-to-back, which would be very impressive. Just showcasing his talent, for next season, hey, maybe, move me up to Xfinity or, make the jump to Cup. He's clearly fast enough in these Xfinity cars, so that's really good to see, Sean, for a guy like himself, able to make the jump up and contend with these guys on, a difficult track.
Speaking of contending and speaking of difficult tracks, we are going to head to Indianapolis for our All-Star race. This is on May the 9th is the actual All-Star race. Now, here's the deal. There's going to be a draft. We're going to have draft day on Saturday, May the 1st, where the four captains, I'm one of those captains, Jason Tripp, Adam Pettit, Danny Setzer are the other three. We are going to choose our teams from each of the three leagues. We're going to have some qualifier races on Saturday, May the 8th. The top 20 from each of those qualifying races will get into the actual All-Star race, where we'll have some money, some prizes. We're going to have all sorts of fun. But I got to tell you, man, I'm feeling pretty confident about where I'm sitting in this draft.
I agree, Sean. It's created a really big buzz in the league. There's a ton of hype. I'm looking forward to it if I'm drafted by one of the captains of the four teams. So It's going to be a good event. It's a little something different, but up front, pace car's off. Jovi Sagiped with a big restart, a good jump on our second-place driver, Gregory Joyner, but these two get single filed out, but then the field behind them is going to be 2 by 2 as they head into turn 1.
Yeah, and that's where all the fun's going to happen back here. We got Marshall Stanley on the outside, taking a peek, trying to see what Zachary Taylor is going to do there. Zachary Taylor pulls it down to the inside, and he is going to try to move up. He's got Dean Brummett right in front of him. Corey Saucier on his outside.
He does. Taylor to the inside there. Going to make the pass and clear Corey Saucier. Zachary Taylor up to 5th place right now, and Mike Lepicki trying to make a move, it seemed, on Gregory Joyner, but they single file it out into 1.
We got
the yellow is out. We got another wreck.
And I believe that's Danny Setzer. Let's see if we can figure. Oh wow, we got a lot of wrecking going on.
Big wreck in the back of the pack.
So we're gonna find out what happened with another wreck replay.
17 was blowing up, Sean.
Well, you know, here in this race, you only have one fast repair, and so some of these guys have already used that one fast repair, especially back here towards the back of the pack. Let's find out what happened with Danny Setzer here. And it looks like he just got a little bit loose. And when he got a little bit loose, he got into the 83, I believe.
Yep, Setzer got a little loose on the high side, and as he was chasing the car down the hill, you know, Chris Massey in the 83 car was there. And that's just, you know, no one at fault there. That's just a guy trying to catch his car, and, you know, another guy running the line, and all of a sudden they make contact and a big wreck happens.
Yeah, and
unfortunate for Cody Havens. Looks like he's already left the race, so I'm assuming he already used his one fast repair, and now the car's killed. And, you know, unfortunately for him, his nights are over early on.
Yeah, and we will get back out there on the track. Back to live racing. Jovi is going to maintain that lead. And, you know, it's only been about 5-6 laps. I don't think we're going to see too many takers here on pit road.
Yeah, it looked like Zachary Taylor tried to fake him out like he was going down. But he didn't end up going in.
You can
makes
see
you wonder if these guys...
Jovi trying to save some fuel. He's cutting off his... looks like he's either holding that clutch or he's cutting off that car.
Yeah, it looks like he's clutching it, trying to save as much fuel as he can. So, you know, it shows you these guys are probably going to be tight on fuel if this thing goes all the way to the end, or even worse would be if it goes long and then there's a real late yellow and there's a green-white checkered. What do? Do you stay out or come into pits?
Well, you know, in the earlier segment, 34, 35 laps is what people started coming in to pit. So yeah, this is about right. You always want to save a little bit of fuel just in case of a green-white checkered, but yeah, man, we're going to be teetering right on the edge here.
Definitely is. I mean, because we had a little bit of a run before this yellow came out. Now you're kind of at that mark of where these guys were running it to before they came down pit lane under green. So it'll be interesting to see here, you know, how this race pans out for these guys.
Yeah, and there's another race coming up next week. So Friday, February 26th, it is a charity race for St. Jude. It's the Revved Up for the Cause for St. Jude. It will be at Daytona. $20 to get in. There are still a few spots available. Not that many, but a few. First place is going to get $200. Second place is going to get $100. Third place is going to get $50. And each of those is also going to get a prize as well. So I believe first place will get a butt kicker on top of that $200. Second place will get a sim box, or a sim button box, and then a third place is going to get an iRacing flag as well. Plus, there's a $150 hard charger award as well. So all sorts of great money going out there, but we're trying to raise money for St. Jude.
Oh, no kidding, Sean. All kinds of money and support going to St. Jude's. It's what you like to see, you know, people helping out other people that are, you know, in need of the help. So great job done by Rev Racing putting on this race. It's going to be an interesting one to see. So I know we got a couple drivers in the field running it, so you'll see some names you know of, you know, running that race here in a couple weeks, or I guess next week's Friday. So it will be a good race to watch.
Yeah, we're going to
And
have
I
a great
believe
time.
we are broadcasting it too, aren't we, Sean?
We are. We will be broadcasting that race. I'm not really sure who my broadcast partner will be or who's going to be broadcasting with us, but we will definitely have that broadcast so everybody can watch that race.
Exactly. So if you're interested to watch that race, check out our YouTube or Facebook page for that race. And when you're there in the meantime, might as well hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the share, extend our viewership out to some more eyes. And, hey, you never know. You could be finding yourself in this league some days, watching yourself on our broadcast.
Yeah, this is race number 17 of the season. We are broadcasting 60 of these things. So 3 leagues, 20 races each. So tons of broadcasts. Don't miss a single one of them. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, so you can get notified every single time we're about to go on air.
Exactly. It just it allows you to listen to Sean and Maya's voice and, watch great racing on the track. Obviously, we've seen that tonight, so why not? Why not come and tune in to us regularly?
Well, now we got to really look at this race a little bit differently because we had that long green flag run, but since then it has been a little bit of caution after caution. So question on everybody's mind is, okay, what do we do here? Do we go for everything we can, or do we save some tires for the end?
Exactly. It's going to be a shorter bit of a run, but at the same time, if it does go green, it's almost a full run on fuel, so you got to be careful of it, not to use your stuff up. But it looks like Gregory Joyner kind of spun the wheels there, and you see Dean Brummett going 3 wide as they head into 1. He's doing that Dale car right by taking it to Sendy's, as he would say. So Dean Brummett really running the high line through 1 and 2 as the battle for second is 3 wide as they come off turn 2.
Yeah, great race for second place back there as one number 3 is leading the pack and another number 3 is trying to get up there to second to his bumper.
Exactly. Dean Brummett really making that top line work. But I think the 85 is going to get a big run down the front stretch. These two are side by side, so Michael Pickey was just 4th place, now falling back to 5th place and under attack by his teammate Zachary Taylor for 5th. So, it kind of, you lose the momentum, all of a sudden you fall back. But Dean Brummett on a charge right now on this restart, going from 4th, trying to take over the lead here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And out there in the chat right now, Andrew D'Agostino saying, can I get a shout out? Let's go 55 and 38. So the 55, Mike Lamenti, and the 38, Jamie Plurd. So Andrew, thanks for watching out there. And also Spees Racing, so that's Kyle Spees, watching on his way home from vacation. So we appreciate that as well, Kyle.
Definitely, and we got a big battle up front. Dean Brummett, one of our Cup Series driver, has taken over the lead here at Homestead-Miami Speedway from the other 3 car. So right now, if your money's on a 3 car, you're doing pretty well. Yeah, not bad at all. But Gregory Joyner has been that car that has kind of come alive a little bit later on in the run. And so that's what we're looking for right now. Right, and you got to be worried if you're Joe Visagi-Ped and Dean Brummett about that. He's been quicker on a longer run than you have, and right now he's sitting in 3rd place, only 0.4 of a second behind you. So you got to start pulling away, or else that 85 car is going to be passing you later on as this run goes on, as they head into turn 3. And it looks like Dean's starting to kind of pull away just a little bit, but again, this is what happened the first time around, where he kind of burned up his stuff a little bit early. So he needs to be very careful for that, because you got a lot of tire savers behind him that are just waiting to pounce. Right, and that it's kind of an issue that these Cup drivers or these truck drivers have when they make the jump up to Xfinity or make the jump down. You don't get as much practice time as these Xfinity guys do in this car, because honestly, the truck and the Cup car run pretty similar, but the Xfinity car is its own animal. You got to be really patient with the throttle and not to burn the tires up. So Dean Brummett's got to be careful up front. He's obviously in the lead, but he's got to realize, hey, there's still 27 laps to go in this thing. I can't be, throwing it away with, 20 laps to go if he gets passed by Joby. So he's got to be aware of that, making sure he's not overdriving the corners, conserving his tires, and, just maintaining that lead right now. Yeah, Joby showed a lot of patience a little bit earlier in this race by not taking a corner when he could have.
but instead saving his tires and everything, and that's kind of what he's doing right here as well. He's just trying to run those smooth, consistent laps, and he knows it'll come to him. Oh, man, we do have a wreck. We've got, I think it's Greg Olenek possibly involved. Yeah, oh, yeah. Olenek flipping everywhere.
Oh, my goodness. Hard hit for the 31 Moulin Rouge Chevy. Wow.
Yeah, we're
going to check it out here on our Sandwich Man Racing Rec Replay. That was huge right there, Sean.
Yeah, and we're going to see what happened here. You got a group of about 5 cars all kind of going right near each other, and it's the 55 of Amenti that gets up into, it looks like Emerson Ardon, I believe is who that was that went flipping.
Hard hit. Yeah, it looked like the 55, and if that was Emerson Ardon on his outside, they kind of net-coded. That's what happens on iRacing with connections. As you can see, the 57 and the 55 were kind of inside of each other's cars there, and then you kind of bounce off of each other, and that's what you saw with the 57 go to the outside and hit Greg Olenek. It's a hard hit, you know, and at this stage of the race, Sean, you got to imagine some of these guys might not even have fast repairs left.
Yeah, and so just going back to the original move that caused this, and you can see Amenti just tries to make it stick down there and just can't make it stick. It just floats up that track, and there's nowhere for Emerson Ardon to go.
Yeah, you know, and it's not like you came up that much. You know, he barely came up, but, you know, when you're 3 wide like that, there was a little bit more room to the outside of the 57, and, you know, it makes you wonder, you should have, you know, why are you trying to pinch him with 25 laps to go? It's still a little early to be doing that, and that's just the product of it on these restarts. Cautions breed cautions, as we just saw.
Well, Dylan Patterson staying out, so everybody else pitted on lap 75, which was just this lap, except for Dylan Patterson. So Dylan's going to try to stay out there and get some track position possibly. We will see how that works. Oh, no, he's going to come into the pits. So we saw that last night in the Truck Series where someone stayed out, and it just was not a good move, and I think Dylan Patterson learned that lesson.
Yeah, and another thing, too, I'm not sure where he was running right there. He could have also gotten the lucky dog, so he came around and came back out in front of these leaders. Or it could have been, you know, okay, maybe this isn't so smart. Didn't think everyone would pit, so I'm not going to want to take a chance here and, you know, wreck myself and take some guys out. So good on him for realizing that, if that's the case, and coming down. So it's going to hand over the lead to Dean Brummett in the 333 car.
Well, let's see if we can't get Dean Brummett in here for a quick interview. Of course, he's one of our other broadcasters that we love broadcasting with, so he is no stranger at all to these microphones. Hey, Dean, Sean and Jake up in the booth, brother. How's it going?
No. I know how this goes. You pull me into the booth, you give me a broadcaster's curse. That's not going to happen tonight.
Actually, neither of us picked you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Well, continue to not do that. Continue not doing that.
So Dean, man, great run so far. I know in that very first long run, you started to fall back towards the end of that long run. Did you just burn up your tires? Is that what that was?
Yeah, just early on in the race, just trying a lot to compete around some of these guys, just trying to get these lanes worked in and burn the tires up, and then got 3 wide there for a moment with the 88 truck, and he slid up into me and hurt me. I was actually the first truck on that sequence of pits, that first sequence of green flag pit stops to come in, just trying to gain a little position back. And I came in 18th, and once everything stabilized, when that caution came out, I was back up to 6th. So those new tires definitely played into my favor big time.
Well, now you're going to be the leader on this restart, Dean. You know, you're driving the 333 Xfinity car, not a truck. So not sure if you realize you're not in the truck tonight, but the car looks great, Dean. I know you're good on these restarts. What are you anticipating here on this restart? You're going to have 22 laps to go once you cross the line.
Yeah, Jake, it's going to be interesting, buddy. We got to get through these gears, got to disappear away from these guys, get out in this clean air, and just like my spotter tells me all the time, take a deep breath, look out in front of us, and drive away.
All right, man. Well, we're going to let you get back to it. Take them to Gapplebee's.
All right, Sean, before we go, it's about to get spicy. Can I get a raise hell, praise Dale? 3's in the chat. Let's see them.
All right, brother. Take care. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck, buddy. And honestly, you know, if you're a fan of Dean Brummett's, you know that's nothing unusual to hear from him. You know, so we're going to see it. Dean Brummett going to get loud on the gas pedal. He's going to pull away from second and third place. He's going to make them be side by side going into one. And Dean Brummett got a nice lead here, about 5, 6, 7 car lengths of a lead as they head into one. Gregory Joyner is going to get by Jovi Sagiped for second. Going to be interesting to see if Jovi gets a run on that high side, but Greg kind of moves up in front of him
Mike
to stall that run out. Lepicki got loose at it too. I'm not sure if he got a little help there or not, but that was a big moment there for the 46 car, but he saved it, so good save, says the field. But up front, it's all Dean Brummett and a battle for second place behind him.
Yeah, Gregory Joyner, again, that guy that he always comes alive towards the end of a run, and so if we can get a good green flag run here, there's a possibility we might see him towards the end.
You got that right, Sean. You know, as much as I want Dean to go out and win this, as he is my teammate and drives for me in the Cup Series, I'm a little afraid of the 85 car. He's shown really good speed on a longer run, but right now 85 is under attack on the inside of Jovi Sagiped, trying to get back to second place to see if he can't run down Dean Brummett up front.
Yeah,
and Mike Lepicki again got loose off turn 4. Didn't mean to cut you off there, buddy, but
no,
Lepicki again.
You're good.
So these fresh tires are...
Yeah, Lepicki has fallen all the way back to 9th, and so rough go of it on this green flag.
Exactly. It's got to just be a product of brand new tires, thinking he can be back on the gas, you know, earlier than he was early on a longer run, and he just keeps getting loose through these corners and losing spots. And right now, Daniel Bowler, who we've not really talked about except for that one time into the long green flag run, is trying to make a move on 5th place Marshall Stanley. So Daniel Bowler's kind of rose to the top here as this race has gone on.
So Dean, with opening up a 0.6 of a second lead, and if they don't start to chop away at this thing here pretty quickly, he is going to be gone.
Yeah, he is. You know, he's got about half a second lead on Jovi Sagiped. The battle for third, they're 2x2. Gregory Joyner and Zach Taylor. So you got our top 2 in points right there battling for third. So if you're Dean Brummett, you're loving what you're seeing in your rearview mirror, and you're kind of driving away from these guys.
But Jovi finally breaks away, so got a little bit of a shot at this thing if he can just kind of pull away and just run some smoother laps.
He definitely does, and you know, if you're the 85 of Gregory Joyner, you can't get too worried. You know, you're still within a second to Dean Brummett, and you know you've been lights out on the long run. You got a ton of speed, but the longer this thing goes, you got to realize that these guys are just a little bit quicker than you on the shorter run, but that's okay, because you know, if this thing goes 17 laps to the end, you're going to be passing these guys, you know, with no problem the longer this thing goes on. So just try to keep as much positions as you can. That way the run to the front isn't as hard for you.
And I mean, shout out to Daniel Baldler, because he told us a little bit earlier, this is not one of his favorite tracks. He is up in 6th position right now. He is racing in below freezing weather. It was negative 25 where he was at the other day. So this guy is just now warming up, and here we go.
And here we go. You know, the 6 cars in 6th place. So any of these guys in front of them kind of make a little bit of a mistake. You know, like you saw Michael Pickett. Oh, no!
Good save by Daniel Baldwin, but that's going to drop him way back.
Brad Herman kind of got into the left rear quarter panel of that 6 car, so unfortunate for that contact. Now Bowler's down in about 15th spot, but back up front, the 2-3 cars are kind of pulling away from 3rd place, Zachary Taylor. But I do just want to point out, over race chatter instantly, Brad Herman in that 86 car did apologize to Daniel Bowler, so you got to love hearing that, you know, being respectful and letting the guy know, hey, I made a mistake. You know, that's not how I wanted to race you. Didn't mean to get into you and move you up the track. So as a fellow competitor and driver, that's what you like to hear from guys that, you know, do that.
Yeah, it's definitely cool when somebody does take responsibility of a wreck, but still, man, it hurts that wreck happened because Baldler had such a good day running.
He really did. You know, now he's kind of hoping there is another yellow. That way, you know, they're stacked up and he can try to get by some more cars, because it's going to be tough for him to get around a lot of these guys to get back up where he's going or where he was running. You know, we've only got 14 laps to go, so that's going to be tough for him to do.
Now Landon Lacey up in 8th.
Exactly. And up front, Jovi's kind of chopping away at the lead here of Dean Brummett. Little by little, every lap that goes by, Jovi's kind of closing in on Dean Brummett. So I think this is, again, like we were saying earlier on in the race, is Dean kind of burns his stuff up a little bit, and then these guys are able to run him down again. And Jovi's there, another mistake by Dean, and Jovi's going to be right on the back bumper of that Good Wrench number 3 car.
Yeah, if there is a caution here, and Dean Brummett can come in and get fresh tires and get back out there in first place, I don't think anybody can catch him on the short run. I just don't. But on the long run, you can see that Jovi is starting to chip away at that lead. Gregory Joyner always comes alive towards the end of this run. Zach Taylor's not out of this thing yet. There's a lot of guys back there that can save tires like nobody's business. And so Dean actually would, I think he would actually like to see a caution come out.
Yeah, obviously, at one point Sagiped was about 0.6 of a second behind him, and he's cut it in half. He's only 0.3 behind him, and they still got 12 laps to go. So if you are Dean Brummett, you kind of want to see a yellow because you're tough to beat. It's hard to get around Dean on a short run, especially in these Xfinity cars. But I think if this thing keeps running, it's going to be hard for Dean to hold off Jovi and and there it is,
there
Dean.
it is. Zimmerman.
We were just talking about it.
And so now it gets interesting because they've been out there for about 13 to 14 laps on these tires. So do you come in right now?
You definitely have to. You're a sitting duck if you stay out. You're basically throwing your race away if you stay out on old tires at this point. We've seen the speed difference of new tires versus old tires. We saw it last night what happened in the Truck Series race with the guys staying out on older tires. It's just not what you want to do. We see here on this rec replay, Devin Zimmerman just wrecks these two wreck, trying to side draft them.
Yeah, it just kind of gets into the back of them. Not really sure.
I don't know why he's doing that.
What happened there? That was a little odd.
Zimmerman's running in 32nd. That's a battle for last place on the lead lap. Like, don't really get that. And you take a guy out and yourself. That's, you're running in last place on the lead lap, Sean. That doesn't really add up to me.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there. So, anyway, we'll get back out there onto the track, and Eric Hawk doesn't look like he has pitted this time around yet, and so he actually has the lead. Now, Marshall Stanley took 2 tires, and he is going to come out in second place. And so Dean Brummett is going to fall all the way back to 4th, taking all 4 tires. And so, and then Jovi back to 5th place. So you got Eric Hawk up there in first place, having not pitted at all. You have Marshall Stanley, who took right sides only in second. Then you have his teammate Aaron Gerwitz in third, taking right sides only. And then you have everybody else that took all 4.
And it looks like Eric Hawk has just pulled off the track and is going to tow it. He's right now on, he towed it away.
Wow.
Not too sure what that was about. Maybe it was blowing up or something.
Yeah, quite possibly. So now we've got a couple of 2-tire stops up front. So Marshall Stanley, Aaron Gerwitz, and then we're going to have Dean Brummett and Jovi Sagiped in the number 3 cars. They are going to be, they're going to have all 4 tires to work with. So this is kind of a risky call for the Rev Racing guys, but a little earlier we talked about how far back the Rev Racing team was in the point standings. This is one of those swing for the fence moves.
It really is. I hope they practice it. At a track like this at Homestead-Miami Speedway, taking 2 tires is going to be really, really loose. So you got to hope these guys are able to hold on to it and don't crash, because these guys are going to be up front in front of the field. Because this is going to get dicey up front. They're going to restart with probably about 6 laps to go, Sean. So it's going to be interesting. I get you're down in team points, but this could go really, really wrong, but I guess it could pay out if you're able to hold it off. But, if you're Marshall Stanley, you were running about 5th place, so I don't, it's not like you're running way back. I don't know. But maybe they know something we don't, so we'll see what happens with this 25 in this 09 car.
Yeah, we're going to figure all this stuff out. Now, interesting, Dean Brummett runs the 25 car in another league. And so kind of interesting that now the 25 is up front and it's not Dean Brummett.
Exactly. Little nostalgia if you're Dean Brummett. You know, that's the car number he ran last season in MSM Season 2 for the Xfinity cars. So, but I'm sure Dean is going to give it all here on these 4 fresh tires. You know, he's starting in a good spot on the inside, P3 behind the leader. So you've got to imagine if these two spin the tires at all, Dean Brummett and Jovi Sagiped are ready to pounce on that, you know, on this second row.
Yeah, Marshall Stanley already with a win this season. Aaron Gerwitz, no wins yet this season, so this would be a really fun one for him to get. But in order to do that, he's going to have to beat his own teammate and hold off some 4 tire stops behind him.
It definitely is. You know, some of these guys looking for good restarts in race chat. A lot of these guys are worried about these 2 on the front row with wheel spin, as well as if they do make it into 1 and 2, getting really, really loose through the middle of the corner. So, you know, that just shows us what this race is about to turn into, Sean.
Yeah, this is about to get really, really fun, as it looks like we're going to come off of turns 3 and 4, and Marshall Stanley's going to get it.
Yep, pace car's off, Sean. Marshall Stanley with a good jump. Doesn't spin the wheels. However, though, Dean Brummett got a great restart. He's going to be on the inside of Aaron Gerwitz before they even get into turn 1. So Dean Brummett already up to P2, ready to go. Trying to get a good run. Out of 2 on our leader, Marshall Stanley. Dean Brummett closing in on our leader.
Yeah, Marshall Stanley's got to hold them all for 7 more laps. Let's see if he can do it.
This is where I think you're going to see if that 2-tire stop was a good choice or not. The kind of run Dean Brummett's going to get on you.
And interestingly, Jovi's fallen back to 5th now.
Oh, we got a big wreck into turn 1. Oh my goodness, Sean. Hard on the inside wall.
Massive wreck. Scoring's
reminds me of
crazy.
last night in the truck race. Oh my gosh. From about 10th place on back, the whole field again. Wow, Corey Saucier involved, our Truck Series winner from last night.
Well, out there in the chat, Bruce Amson said big wreck up front coming, and that wasn't up front. That was kind of a little bit back, I believe. We're going to go back and try to sort that out. Our scoring went absolutely crazy.
It really did. That's going to take a lot of guys out, Sean, and I'm sure a lot of these guys have no more fast repairs, so... see what happened here. Looks
the 55. That's Michael Amenti again. Gets into the wall.
Wow! And then you see everyone trying to get around it, dodging everything in front of them, and there's just nowhere to go. And I mean, it's a parking lot of wrecked race cars into turn 1.
He
so
just
the 55 got into the fence. Got into the right side door of Lipicki.
Yeah, and then that just started everything. And then we got tracks in the middle of the road that, oh man, or we got cars in the middle of the road, just cars everywhere.
The whole field, basically. I mean, that's about 75% of this field just taken out in a blink of an eye.
From Danny Setzer's view, just nowhere to go.
Wow. I mean, I don't understand why you don't try to slow down. I mean, he's going full speed. Like, saw the wreck happening. And the guys just come flying in. And the wreck just gets bigger and bigger. It's like a big old potluck of wrecked race cars in turn 1 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Yeah, and then Corey Saucier, our winner from last night, gets involved in that one. And he's going to get a nice hit right here that going to take off his front bumper. So his night is likely over.
Big wreck, and you know it's going to make this restart even shorter up front. Dean Brummett going to be P2 with Marshall Stanley in the lead, so we'll see what these 2 tires are like again on this restart.
Yep, and now you've kind of made your bed, so I mean you can't come in and get tires now because you'll fall all the way back. But yeah, this is. Whew.
So right now our top 5: first place Marshall Stanley, Dean Brummett in 2nd, Aaron Gerwitz P3. 4th place, Zachary Taylor, and in 5th place, we got Jovi Sagiped. So, a lot of guys up front have, been up front all night. So, got a good group of top 5. It's going to get really, really racy up front.
Out there in the chat, Jeremy Duncan says, wow, that's a lot of cars. And Bruce Hampson says, is this Talladega? Well, it might as well be, Bruce. I mean, that took out over half the field, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the top 12 got through it without getting involved in the wreck. So we've got, 41 drivers, so 29 of them got involved. I mean, it's a big chunk of our field, Sean. You know, if this was real racing, that'd be a lot of dollar signs laying out on the track.
Yeah, thank goodness it's only $10 a week here at Speed Racing Network.
Exactly. Costs are low.
Shameless plug.
Exactly.
So we're going to have our first green-white checkered here. So what are you looking for if you are Marshall Stanley and you've got Dean Brummett on 4 fresh tires on your outside, which the outside line isn't that bad here?
No, you know, if I'm Marshall Stanley, you got to time this restart right. You can't let it be even coming across the start-finish line as you head into 1, because I think it's just going to give the advantage to Dean. So you got to jump it, time it out right where you catch Dean, you know, sleeping on the outside. That way you kind of pull away from him by a few car lengths. Because I think if you're on 2 tires and you got a guy on 4 tires and you're side-by-side into 1, it's going to be tough to hold them off. Especially someone like Dean Brummett, you know, he's got experience of this in this situation. So Marshall's got to do something here and kind of pull away from the field.
Yeah, and so we got Marshall Stanley up front. You got Dean Brummett on his outside. You got Aaron Gerwitz lining up on the inside in 3rd. And then you have Zachary Taylor, our series leader, in 4th on the outside.
Yep, so we got, you know, championship leaders in the individual standings up front. So, you know, if something like we just saw happens to one of these guys, you know, they could lose a lot of spots. So if you're watching at home, buckle up, you know, pull those belts tight one more time. That's what our drivers are doing. This is going to get insane. I think we're going to see a restart here that it could result in a wreck like we just saw.
Well, out there in the chat, Bronco Motorsports is saying that Jake is hilarious. Yep, that's why we hired him, is for his sense of humor.
Gotta love it. Paying the bills.
That's right.
Up here in the booth. On and off the track. But up front, Marshall Stanley going to get on that gas pedal. He's got a good jump. Dean Brummett is the one that kind of spins the wheel. Dean's got to be careful, though. Zachary Taylor can make a move here to send it 3 wide into 1.
Yeah, that was probably the worst-case scenario for Dean there, because now not only does he have to try to get around Marshall on the outside, he has to deal 3 wide for 2nd place.
But Dean Brummett got a huge run on that high side. He was able to clear those 2 for 2nd and 3rd. Dean Brummett going to go to the inside. I think he's going to make it work.
Marshall got
power
loose.
Move to the inside. Dean Brummett trying to self-clear. A good move by Brummett. They're going to get to the white. No, yellow is out. Dean Brummett is our leader.
Trying to find where that damage is. Oh, there we go. It's on the front stretch.
Oh, my goodness.
Wayne Rayburn
More
involved.
cars.
Jack Johnson involved. Danny Dow involved.
I tell you what, Dean Brummett got really lucky, Sean, that yellow came out, because those guys were going to have a run and a chance to send it to his inside as they headed into turn 1.
Well, you know, the longer this thing goes, the less it helps Dean Brummett, I think. You know, because those tires kind of stabilize, don't they?
Yes and no. With only 2 laps, it won't be as bad just because they cool down under these yellows. And I think it honestly will get worse and worse for those guys with 2 tires. But here on our rec replay, you just see guys kind of getting loose, getting into each other as they know they're coming to the white flag, trying to get as many spots as they can to make up for some bad.
Whoa, that's a net code there.
Net code and a half, Sean. That was like 10 feet. And they were making contact. So that's what net code is, you know.
They were nowhere close to him.
Wow.
That was a pretty bad netcode. So for those viewers that don't know what a netcode is, basically that's where the two computer systems don't really link up very well as far as where everything is within a couple of inches of each other. And so it'll show as contact, but there was really no contact there. And that's really what happened there. You saw that car break loose, and that was because one computer read that they made contact where the other computer read that they didn't make contact. So just a lot of damage there, and really unfortunate for those front runners. I think we were going to see a really good race to the finish there, but like we were saying a little bit earlier, Dean Brummett is really good on these restarts. So this might play in his hands.
Oh, I think it definitely will. Don't want to be the homer here for Dean Brummett, but you're the leader with four tires as opposed to these guys around you that got two, and now you're in command of this restart. It's going to be hard to catch him, especially if he gets a big jump like we saw Corey Saucier get last night in our Truck Series race. So, again, I feel like I'm pounding it into everyone's head tonight. The emphasis on getting a good restart if you're P2 or P3. You got to keep the leader in your sight, close. You can't let him get out too far because it's just not going to give you a good chance to get to him and make a pass.
Out there in the chat, you got Turkey and Cheese, first time viewer here, all buckled up. So thank you, Turkey and Cheese, for showing up. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast, and we will see what happens here right here at the end as we get into our second green-white checker.
We definitely will. I think we're going to get the one to green this time by once these cars come to the start-finish line, Sean. So, you got to imagine Dean's probably pretty amped up. Marshall, trying to get back to him and get around him. Even these guys in third and fourth, Aaron Gerwitz trying to get a solid finish. Zachary Taylor, we know he wants to win every single week. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not over yet. These guys might make some moves here on this restart to try to get up there and get around Dean Brummett and Marshall Stanley.
It looks like they may have delayed the green there. For whatever reason. It might have been some people not lining up a little bit further back. You can see a little bit of separation back there towards the back of the pack. So looks like they're going to delay the green for one more lap, and then we're going to get right back into it. So if you're Marshall Stanley, what's going through your head here is you have to get a great jump here. You have to kind of play that jump that Dean Brummett's going to get. And if you don't guess correctly, your race is pretty much over.
Yeah, and you got to be very careful if you're Marshall. If you don't time it right, and all of a sudden you've seen Dean go, you can't really slam into that gas pedal because you'll probably spin your wheels. The rear wheels will not get traction. You'll be lighting them up, and you could get run over from behind and send you into the wall and cause a wreck or something like that. So you got to be very careful if you're Marshall Stanley. You almost kind of have to anticipate it and make a judgment of your own to kind of guess when Dean's going to go. And just start going yourself, or else you're really gonna get behind them as they head into turn one. But here we go, waiting for this pace car to dive off into pit lane. We're gonna see Dean Brummett in control, instantly on the gas. Dean Brummett is gonna pull away from the field here. That's the kind of restart you want to have if you're the leader on a green-white checkered. Marshall Stanley under attack from Zach Taylor as they head into turn one.
Yeah, and that restart right there is why Dean Brummett deserves this win.
Yeah, that's a clinic right there, how to do a restart on one of these green-white checkers. You get yourself out so far, you can't even have someone try to make a pass on you. It's going to be tough for these guys to catch them with only 2 laps. Dean's going to get the white flag here unless there's a wreck behind us. And it looks like we're going to get into... Oh, Gregory Joyner got put into the fence by the 09. Wow, white flag is out, though. Dean Brummett up front, going to take the lead here into 1 and 2. It's going to be hard for these guys to run them down.
Yeah, half-second lead here.
All COVID Crusader as he comes off at 2. He's got one more set of turns to get through. So Dean Brummett in the 333 Goodwrench Service Chevrolet Camaro going to lead our field into turn 3 and 4, Sean. And he's going to come off at 4, and he's going to see that checker flag waving. Dean Brummett is going to bring it home here at the Magic City 150 in SRN's Xfinity Series.
Dean Brummett coming down from the Cup Series just to kind of visit with the win here tonight, and really a well-deserved win. That restart was just epic.
It really was. Put the field on notice that he knows how to get these restarts done.
And so
what a race.
Out in the chat, Travis Trevelyan saying, "Do it for Dale, number 3." And so he did, man. That was his whole purpose of showing up here tonight, was to run that Dale Earnhardt car. And he actually told us that last night when he decided to run. He wanted to run the Dale Earnhardt car.
And he definitely did.
And so he will wait for everybody to kind of clear the track.
You know, Sean, he might be waiting for me to jump down there and get in a car and burn it down with him. Because that's our specialty at RSR. We got some cars lined up. Not too sure what Dean has orchestrated here.
I don't really know.
But I'm not surprised with Dean Brummett. Dean Brummett going to burn it down for our fans here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Dean Brummett putting on a show, a smoke show. Doing it justice in that 3-car. I'll tell you what, Sean, this is going to be a great interview later on when we get him up here in the booth.
Oh, it's always fun to have Dean up in the booth. You just never know what's going to come out of his mouth, honestly, and that's what makes it exciting. So let's go ahead and pull up our winners here. Let's go ahead and pull up our race results. You can see here Dean Brummett winning the whole dang thing as an independent, and Marshall Stanley with that really gutsy call to only take 2 tires to get that track position. Didn't quite work out for him all the way, but he will take 2nd place for Rev Racing. Zachary Taylor in 3rd for Tank Racing. Landon Lacey, who started up towards the front and worked his way back up after an early incident, will take 4th, and Aaron Gerwitz for Rev Racing will take 5th.
And in 6th place, we got Jovi Sagipet out of H2K Motorsports. 7th place, another independent driver, so we got 3 of them in the top 7. Brad Herman. 8th place, Dylan Patterson at R2D2 Motorsports. 9th place, Gregory Joyner from Bronco Motorsports. Probably not too happy with that place, or that finish in 9th place. You know, he's running up front all day. Probably should have had a top 5, top 3 car, but brings it home 9th. Mike Lepicki, again, same kind of story as Greg, finishing 10th place for Tank Racing.
Yeah, Bo Tiffany for Team SRN in 11th. Brad Williams for Bronco Motorsports in 12th. Christopher Heller for R&D Motorsports in 13th. His teammate Daniel Baldler in 14th after an unfortunate incident with Brad Herman a little bit earlier. Nathaniel Mon in 15th for Bronco Motorsports.
And 16th, we got Nick Goen, again from Bronco Motorsports. So, that's 4 guys in the top 16 for Bronco Motorsports. So, great points day for them as a team. 17th place, we got Jamie Plorter at R2D2 Motorsports. 18th, we got his teammate Michael Amenti at R2D2 Motorsports. And Devin Zimmerman coming home 19th. And rounding out the top 20, we got Rob Yost Jr., another independent driver.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to have some new team standings leaders with Bronco Motorsports with that points day. So we could be looking at that as we get into next week. But for right now, let's see if we can get Zachary Taylor up here from it used to be Hammer Down Motorsports. Now it is Tank Racing once again. So let me see if I can pull him up into our booth and chat with him just a little bit here. Hey, Zach, Sean, and Jake up in the booth, buddy. How's it going?
Oh, great.
Good deal. Man, it is going good up here. Great race. Finishing 3rd place back there. I know that's not necessarily where you wanted to finish, but a good run for you and a great finish. What did you see out there on the track?
A lot of good racing. I saw all kinds of good racing. Definitely a lot of fast cars. Dean was probably one of the fastest cars tonight, if not the fastest car. So much deserved win to him. I think we saw a longer green flag run than most of us was expecting, especially after last night's race. But aside of that, we had a great race altogether.
You definitely did, Zach. You come home P3, another solid finish for you for the championship standings. But I got to ask, on those late yellows, what was going through your mind trying to, you had Dean in front of you on that last one, in second, you were fourth. Did you think about taking it, 3 wide early on, going into one or anything like that?
No, not really. I was riding a little bit more cautious tonight than what I normally would for unknown reasons. But we had a great race, and like I said, I don't think I had very much for Dean, if anything. I just wasn't that fast tonight as I normally would be.
While you're driving out there, do you keep in mind who's around you? Because I know we had Gregory Joyner, who's second in points out there, that was up towards the front the entire time. Does that get in your mind at all that you're the points leader and this guy is right there on your tail and he's close to you? Does that play?
Yeah, that definitely influenced a lot of the racing tonight for me. I was really focused on beating him. I didn't want to lose that points lead tonight, so I feel mission accomplished tonight.
Man, great job tonight. Congratulations on a third place finish. That should extend your series lead just a little bit there. So congratulations on that as well. And we will see you next week. Is there anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go? Let's go there.
Yeah, all the guys at Tank Racing. They give us really fast cars every week, and wouldn't be able to do much of this without them. All the guys over at Rocket Racing, they're real good. All the guys over back at Ford Motor Company, they supply us with these cars. It's awesome to see us all running pretty good every week.
Well, good deal, man. We'll have a great week. We will see you next week as we go back to California and try to track down Auto Club.
Yep, 10-4, thank you.
All right, buddy.
Great run tonight. I got to say something real quick. Dean Brahma is still out there burning it down.
Is he still there?
I mean, I am just amazed by it that motor is not blown up.
He is still out there on the track. That is absolutely unreal. Oh, that is hilarious. Let's see if we can't get Marshall Stanley from Rev Racing in here. Let me see if I can find this guy and get him up into the booth. I know Dean is anxious to get his interview, but we've got to go to Marshall first. Hey, Marshall, Sean, and Jake. How's it going, buddy?
Doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Doing good. You got the winner of the race out there still burning it down on the track, but man, you made a great gutsy call there at the end to only take 2 tires. Tell us what went into that call.
Yeah, so shockingly, I wasn't the one who came up with the idea. Aaron just said, let's take 2 tires, and kind of thought about it. And right when I got to pin entry, I just said, let's do it. Let's just take 2. And we kind of both, the first lap of that restart, kind of were laying back a little bit, not really pushing it. And right as we were about to push, the caution came out. So I'm glad it worked out. I guess we got enough cautions to keep the track position. So I'm happy with the finish tonight.
Yeah, definitely was. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead. You got it, Jake.
It definitely was, Marshall. Honestly, I was surprised that you and Gerwitz were able to, hold your positions up there, only taking 2. You kept it P2, even though you came out in the lead. But, I got to ask, did you guys practice that or not? Some guys usually just kind of, throw a Hail Mary, so to speak, with it and take 2 on a late yellow. Is that something you guys had practiced at all this week, or did you guys just, kind of go out on a whim and hope it worked?
I know for me personally, I winged it because today was my only day to practice Homestead, as I've been busy the last couple of days. Aaron and them may have tried it, but to the point of like when we were pushing it to that level, it was mostly a wing it choice. It was like, if this works, cool. If it doesn't, we're about to take out half the field. So hopefully it's not the second one.
Well, it definitely wasn't, man. So congrats on P2. And, is there anyone you'd like to thank or any sponsors you want to shout out before we let you go?
I just want to thank Adam, all the guys at Rev Racing. They've been putting in a lot of work for the season, and I think once we get a few guys up here with good finishes, it'll show in the team points. Free M USA, who sponsors the cars, SimLab, Griffith CPA, Sparkle and Shine, and you guys, and all of SRN that does all the stuff behind the scenes. You guys are doing an awesome job, and keep at it.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you, and definitely look forward to seeing you next week at Auto Club.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. Can't wait.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, have a good one.
And hang on, we just all need to take a deep breath here before we get
Oh,
Dean up
yeah.
in here. I mean, everybody go get a drink, whatever.
Grab some popcorn,
This is gonna get a little bit insane. So let's see if he's done doing his burnouts now. I mean, it only took him half an hour to do that. Dean, are you having fun out there, man?
Let's go, boys. How's it going?
That is the answer I think we all expected to have. Dean Brummett, you come down here and you win this thing at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Heck of a drive, man. It's impressive to watch you do it. I got to ask, you going to try to go back-to-back with a Cup Series win here Sunday night?
Man, Jake, I'd love to. I mean, this track has been very, very good to me. I won't lie. I definitely should have practiced tonight. There was a lot of cars out here that were better than I were by a long shot. The start of the race, man, I mean, it was crazy just trying to really figure out what the car had in it and try to deal with this just super, super tight car that we had tonight. And took me till about midway of the race, and I finally figured it out after I dropped back a long ways, came back up. Man, I tell you what, this was just awesome tonight, guys. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn by any means, but please tell me that you guys saw the restart on lap 68 coming to 69 when I managed to take it 3 wide there on the outside with Mr. Joyner, and he fortunately gave me all the room in the world.
Well, we would be a really, really horrible broadcast if we didn't see that, Dean.
Well, I never count anything out with this SRN group, especially my co-broadcasters up here. No, Greg gave me all the room in the world, man. Like at first he looked like he was going to come up, but that car it stuck by that wall, man. And I rode it all the way down the back straightaway. He came up to me coming off turn 2, and I was like, well, one of two things is about to happen here. This thing's either about to just get completely and totally trashed, or it's going to go. And I mean, it was just like a rocket ship from there, and then to get to chase down Marshall Stanley at the end and get to throw that big slider on him heading out of turn 4. I thought I had made it to the white flag, but caution came out, gave me one more chance to restart, and just managed to drop a gear and disappear, as they say.
Well, Dean, 20 years to the day of Dale Earnhardt's passing, and I know that was the main reason you wanted to race this race and race in that 3 car. The 3 was already taken by Jovi. You ran at a 3.33 just to get that out there. And so, what does this mean to you? What does the legacy of Dale Earnhardt mean to you in winning this race tonight?
I was too young to really understand it when Dale passed, and, to feel the reverberation, to really get to be a NASCAR fan starting in 2004 when a friend of mine at the time took me to my first ever race, and, to get to learn the history. And, I think every one of us has seen that unfortunate wreck in some way, shape, or form. And, it burns in your mind for forever to know, what the man accomplished in such a different era with so many different types of cars. And that's why after the race, I asked everybody, I said, if you want to participate, you can. If you don't have to. I understand, just because some people have some bad races. But a lot of the competitors after this one, they lined up on the front straightaway, reminiscent of when Dale won the Daytona 500 in 1998, and allowed me to drive by with the hand out the window, so to speak, giving the driver the high five here one last time.
Definitely, man. I mean, congratulations on a really, really great race. I mean, is there anybody that you'd like to thank before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, man, I'd just like to thank Speed Racing Network. I mean, I've had so much fun in the booth these last couple weeks, and look forward to doing some more in the future. Just want to thank Roell Smith Racing for working with me, trying to get me to be the better driver that I knew I could tap into. Just never really knew how. Jake, want to thank you personally here, man. You instilled a lot of confidence in me this week when you worked with me a little bit working on the Daytona road course, and I guess in honor of Dale, I got to thank GM Goodwrench, Richard Childress Racing, Burger King, We Care, and fortunately these Goodyear tires held out for me. So one last time, boys, can I get a raise hail, praise Dale, 3s in the air out in the chat?
That you had quite a few the first time you did that, buddy. So great job tonight, and great job just keeping that legacy alive.
Hey, thank you, guys. You all have a great evening. We'll see you Sunday night.
All right,
Appreciate it, Dean. Heck of a drive. Always good to be up here in the booth watching one of my drivers win it. So, if I can't do it, it's a pleasure watching one of you guys come out here and run. So, heck of a drive tonight, buddy.
Hey, man, we thank you. You guys have a great one.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. So great race tonight. That was a lot of fun all the way from start to finish. We had some good green flag racing. We had some good short stint racing. We had all sorts of stuff there. But next week we're heading to the City of Angels for the City of Angels 150 at Auto Club Speedway, and a little bit of a different track, a little bit of a bigger track there. So we'll see what some of these guys can do with that.
Definitely, we will, Sean. You know, it's a D-shaped oval. It's 2 miles of track. It's very similar to Michigan International Speedway. They're sister tracks, so they're the same kind of layout. Auto Club's a really wide track compared to Homestead-Miami Speedway, and the corners out there are a lot flatter. You know, less banking in them than here. I think we're going to see the same type of thing. You know, a lot of green flag racing. So you got to be quick on short runs like we saw tonight. You know, the dividends it pays off to be quick on a 10-lap run like Dean Brummett was all night. But at the same time, man, you got to be careful and make sure you're not using your tires too early in a run, because if it goes green, man, it can go it can go for a while out there, and things can go bad quick if you're burning your tires up. So look for some green flag racing out there in Fontana, California.
Yep, and our next broadcast is right back here at Homestead-Miami. It's the Cup Series this Sunday, so you're going to see Dean Brummett right back out there one more time to kind of get some laps in the actual Cup car, but we'll see if he can make it 2 in a row. Now, I'll tell you that out there, right back out on the track, we will show it again as Dean Brummett kind of sees all these cars and just reminiscent, like he said, of that 1998 Daytona 500 where all the teams were congratulating Dale, giving him high fives. And of course, we can't give high fives here on, on iRacing, but just passing all those cars, giving all of them congratulations and thank yous and that. So, and then spinning it out. So great job tonight, Dean Brummett. But man, what a great race. Remember our next broadcast tomorrow night. So Homestead-Miami Speedway at 8:30 Central. So not tomorrow night, I'm sorry, Sunday night. And that Sunday, February 21st. So be sure to come back with us. Be sure to hit that like or subscribe button, and then we will get that party started. Jake, great time tonight, man. We will see you racing there on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, Sean, it's going to be a blast. It's always a blast up here in the booth. I love doing it, but, something I love doing more is, running Sunday nights and racing. So I'm excited for it. RSR is going to bring speed. The confidence boost for Dean Brummett winning tonight, it's going to do good things for him. It's going to be a great race, I think, Sunday night. So definitely check it out. You'll be able to watch me race as well as all of our other Cup drivers. It's going to be one heck of a show. So be sure to tune in Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching tonight, and we're going to let you go with that. But for myself, Sean Griffith, and Jake Roell, and for everybody here at Speed Racing Network, just remember, go faster.